stay stuck in an okay brand. And here's what I mean. I get it. You started out in a certain niche, a certain industry, but now you've looked at yourself and you've seen how your skills have grown and how you can do more, you can be more, you can solve problems for a larger audience. And you're just like, how exactly do I transition? If you found yourself asking those questions recently, not to worry. Today's video would help you address simple ways to transition without losing yourself in the process. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Deborah and I currently work as a launch strategist. And this wasn't always the case. For 2 years, I ran a thriving journal brand. I sold journals as in stationaries, that help people with their productivity while also drawing them closer to God. And that's all I was known for, and at some point I just started to sense like, oh, there could be more to what it is I was doing. There could be more. I could help people solve, deeper level problems. I could help people grow. I could help people expand. But I just kept feeling like, oh, so does it mean people will not know me as your journal sister again? How do I navigate the transitioning? How do I move my audience? How do I move my clients? Does it mean I have to shut everything down? Does it mean I have to start from scratch? I have to start from ground zero? So every time I would go to Google and I'd start searching, how to start building a brand from scratch. But then I don't want you to feel that way. So in this video, I want to walk you through simple ways that allowed me transition and land, paying clients in less than 6 weeks of transitioning my brand. I know you're here because you want to be able to reinvent yourself. You want to reinvent what you're doing and then do something else. But then you're like, oh, what if I want to do is completely different from what it is that I'm doing now? So the first step in transitioning without, pain will be to take an audit of what it is that you're doing. What exactly are you doing? And that was one thing that helped me. So all along, I never saw myself as someone who just retailed journals or who just sold books. I had a deeper sense of importance to what it is that I was doing. I knew that what I was doing was transforming lives, so I saw what I was doing more from a transformative angle than a transactional angle. And it was easy for me to sit with what I was doing then and then just really take an audit of what it is that I was doing. So I started to tell myself things like, I was helping people become better versions of themselves. I was helping people grow in the light of their identity. I was helping people ace their goals, because if they grew in the light of their identity, they could also ace the goals that they had. They could stop seeing themselves as small. They could stop seeing themselves as victim of circumstances. They could see themselves in their most empowered version. Now, me being able to take an audit of what exactly it is I was helping people do helped me see that, okay, if I was helping people do this, then what I want to help people do now is not so far. But somebody might say, but what if what I was doing is nothing related at all? I always like to say that it's almost impossible that what you're doing now and what you want to do in the future is not related at all. And here's what I mean. So before I became your journal sister, I was a medical student. Yeah. And when it was time for me to move from being a medical student to being a business owner, I could have said, there's nothing that concerns, all of this. But I said, no, I took an audit of my skills. So one of my strengths from, being a medical student at a time in my life was key research. Like, oh my goodness, I was big on research. I was big on reading. I was big on learning. It was a voracious, I had such a voracious appetite for learning. So I told myself, okay, if I had this skill here, I could take it to what it is that I'm doing currently. Yeah, more than just that, being in the medical field for a while helped me develop a soft spot for people. So I'm very empathetic. I know how to listen. I know how to ask questions. I know how to diagnose what is wrong. And because of that, I easily said to myself, you know what? I could take these skills, my empathetic skills, I could take it so that when I'm creating credits for my clients and I'm walking them through methods, all I need to do is really just lean into my empathetic side of me. Yeah, and it would help me with diagnosing. So one thing I know how to do so well, most times when people sit in my strategy sessions, they're like, I didn't think of that. I didn't see that. Really, that's where all of this came from. So I was able to take, my past skills. So the first thing you want to do, I want you to do it now as we're talking, as I'm even explaining all of these things. Begin to ask yourself, what are current skills that I have that I can use in the new thing that I'm transitioning to. That's one. Now, the next thing you need to do would be to transition fully if it gives you the permission to. One of the mistakes I made was that I was still in and out of my journal brand and launch strategy. So 1 minute I'm showing you that I have journals for sale, and the next minute I'm showing that I can help you create strategy. I could tell that it was causing a distraction both in my mind and in the mind of my audience. So you want to really transition fully if it allows you to, because you need people to see you in a new light. You need people to see you in this new thing that you're coming to. You need people to see you in this new version. So you can't keep going in and out of versions, especially when you are sure that you're done with your previous version and you're ready to embrace the new. So you want to transition fully. Forget all of the things that had come with the previous one and really just build this one out. So one of the mistakes I would do then was that, I'll do my launch strategy for a while, but when I need quick cash, I'll say, I have journals, so come and buy journals and all of those things. And it was very distracting. So I had to set things straight. And I said, you know what? I was going to give myself 6 weeks of no distraction, of going heads on with this thing. And in the 6 weeks, I started to land paying clients. And that's the same thing I'm going to need you to do. Go all out fully. Now, what does going all out fully look like? Going all out fully can look like sitting down and really creating a plan. What am I doing? What do I want to be known for? Who do I want to help? And I don't want you to be emotional about the who you want to help and what you want to be known for. I need you to be firm about it. I want you to say, I want to help people in this level. I want to help people in this category. And for you, it might be that, you're transitioning from one aspect of your business to another aspect of your business. So, for example, you've maybe written a book about your subject matter, but then now you're saying, I want to move from just writing a book to, maybe hosting programs, hosting events, creating a mastermind out of that book, creating other products out of that book, expanding it so that I can solve more problems and I can reach a larger audience. If this is what you're saying to yourself, then I need you to start thinking and having conversations like you have created that program. So you're going to need to show us your thought leadership. So we're going to need you to wear your expert hat and walk us through what the process is like. You already promised us a level of results with your book. So why do we need more? Do you see? So you're going to need a framework. If you say you're going to solve a higher level of problem, a deeper level of problem, or sub problem for a different category of people, then you're going to need to communicate that effectively. Now, one common mistake that I see people make is that they act like there are no competitors. You're the only one, you're one of one, you're number one, you're the only one. But no, that's not true. As unique as you can be, people have options. You're going to need to act like you're aware that people have options. You're coming into an already existing industry. It's not like you're manufacturing a new industry. So that means there are leaders there. And that means you're going to need to show up correct. So if it means you, being intentional about your branding, having a strategy that is guiding you, people have other options. So why should they choose you? Why should they pick you and not the other people? And no, you cannot even afford to play price wars here, because the truth is, so long as people are putting money down, they are going to need to be sure that whoever it is that they're putting money down for is someone they can trust. So no, you don't want to have to just, show up randomly, show up inconsistently. You want to show up with a right strategy guiding you so that you're building from a sustainable point of view. In all of this, it's going to be important that you transition from a positioning point of view. So whether you're moving from one aspect of your business to another aspect of your business, you get, so you may maybe serving a category of people and you're looking to serve a higher category, or you're transitioning from one industry to another industry completely. It's important that you think positioning, and with positioning, it's important that you think packaging too. So how exactly are you going to package your expertise, your skills into a framework that thousands of people can use? Do you get? So it works for person A and it also works for person C. It works for person F and it also works for person J, because that's the only way that you're not going to be burnt out in your transitioning. And one of the things that would help you be really confident is to have a plan on paper. So why it feels like, you're quite, uncertain and you're worried, is because you've not been able to speak to your mind to say, this is exactly what I want to do. So have a plan on paper that says, these are multiple ways I can make money. These are multiple streams of impact. I can impact people by, maybe speaking, by having a program, by, creating this product, by structuring it this way, by having sessions, by having classes. But I don't want you to have a lot of one-off things that are not sustainable. So with strategic packaging, you also want to think sustainable positioning in a way that if somebody wakes up and decides to work with you today, there's a way for them to work with you. They don't have to wait for you to host your next once in a blue moon class for them to work with you. No, that's going to be one thing you're going to do to repel your growth even as you transition. Because remember, you want to make sure that when people decide, there's a way for you to help them right in that moment. You're also going to need to understand clear communication. The way you may have been communicating, your skills and your expertise in the past, and the way you're going to need to communicate it now that you're looking to transition to a new audience or a higher level of audience, will be different. There are industry nuances. There are things that people are looking to hear. You're going to need to familiarize yourself with these things. So you cannot just afford to talk about what you know just how you know it. No, it's important that you learn how to craft compelling and convincing offers from your messaging. So that means your messaging has to even be core. And someone will be like, what exactly is messaging? Messaging is the theme of what it is that you're doing. So more than just being a launch strategist, my message is that you can package and promote your expertise in a way that makes you a magnet for more influence, more income, and more impact. So that's my messaging. And then with this, my messaging, I can be able to create different offers. But most importantly, I can be able to tell a story about what it is that I do. And because I know this is very important, I've put together a launch productivity template that can help you tell a good story about what it is that you're doing. So most times when it comes to transitioning, there are 1,001 things to do. There are 1,001 things to do, but how do you know exactly where to put your focus? That's where my launch productivity template comes in, because it allows you audit your current skills, it allows you to take cognizance of your current schedule, and then it asks questions like, oh, what story are you currently telling about your life? And what story are you looking to tell about your life? In a way that what you're launching, what you're building, the program you're creating, the new transition that you're embracing is feeding into the authentic story you're telling about yourself rather than repelling it. So that way you're able to merge your transition goals with your life goals in general. I'm not even supposed to be having this conversation, but please, it's also important that while you transition, you think money in view. I don't know why it feels like, oh, let me transition first and then I can charge later, or I can think of money later. But most times when I have conversations with people, I just realize that sometimes that's like a lazy way to escape doing the right work. So I want you to transition like you know that you're going to earn from day one. I want you to transition like you know that you're going to charge a premium for this thing. If it means you getting the right guide, if it means you doing things in a structured manner, obviously that's why I'm here. If it means you following, a step-by-step guide that allows you to do this, then by all means commit yourself to things like that. And because you're coming into an already saturated market, you're coming into a place that is bubbling already, a place where the audience that you're trying to speak to already have ways that they've been answering their questions and solving their problems in the past. It means you have to come correct. So no, I don't want you to think that, oh, I can just do it for free for a while and then I'll do it later. Even if you decide to do it for free, let it be that you're authentically doing it for free, and that's not an escape to structuring your business and doing things the right way. Because one thing I've realized is when you come in with the mindset to charge, when you come in with the mindset to charge premium, it pushes you. It shows in the dedication that you put to it. It shows in the consistency that you put to it. It shows in the level of the quality of excellence that you're bringing into it. Because you know that, oh, I want to be able to command a certain level of pricing. I want to be able to command a certain level of influence. So I'm going to do things correctly from the beginning. And one thing that keeps me on my toes is that I almost always ask myself, if I'm placed side by side with a leader in this industry already, but if my audience is exposed to another leader in my industry, or another leader who does almost the same thing like I do, would they choose them or would they choose me? And why would they choose them instead of choosing me? Do you see? And I like to always mark up the gap. So I'm always reinventing myself. I'm always improving my processes. I'm always improving my marketing. I'm always improving my methods, because I know that all of these things are important. And I'm working with competition in mind. So this is very, 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 very is extra important. please. Now, in all of this, you really don't have to guess your way through. You really don't have to, go through 10,000 Google searches before you get your answer. We can sit together and you get your answer in 90 minutes or less, because this is something that I typically help people do in my Launch Ready session. So if we were to sit together in a Launch Ready session, I would go through my audit. I have, typical questions that I ask people that help them audit their skills, audit where they are, where they ought to be, and create a plan, a weekly plan. Oh, this is what you should be doing in week 2. This is what you should be doing by week 5. Oh, this is a mistake you should avoid. This is something you should look out for. So that way you're going into your transition, or you're transitioning fully armed. So if you want to be able to lock down your Launch Ready session, all you need to do is check the link in the description. Now, in all of this, I would really like to know, what exactly are you transitioning from to? Please let me know in the comment section, so I know how best to share maybe resources, or share more advice, or create my content in a way that answers the questions that you have. If you've watched up to this point, then it means you're gaining so much value, and then there's so much more coming your way. So you want to grab your seat and really just subscribe to this channel. But not than subscribing, I would also appreciate if you share this to other people who would benefit from what it is that you have just learned. Now, I would like to wrap up by saying I have gone through multiple transitions, and I know that in the moment of transition, it can feel like a lot. But then going through transitions with guidance, and right counsel is the best thing you can do. Now, even with all of that, I just want to remind you that the best part of your life is in the future. So please embrace the transition and embrace it fully. Don't embrace it with one leg in, one leg out. One of the mistakes I did then was that, one moment I'm doing Launch Ready, the next moment I'm trying to sell journals again, just because I was scared. And you really don't want to do that. So I want to give you the permission to reinvent yourself fully and reinvent yourself without regret. So till my next video, I want you to stay thriving, and remember that you can send me a DM on Instagram. I'll leave my Instagram link in the description, and we can have conversations outside of here, and I'll be willing to put you through. Bye.